For 25 years, nothing has tasted better after a hard day's work than a Mike's Hard Lemonade. It's because since day one, Mike's has been making lemonade the hard way. We use 3 kinds of lemons, all hand-picked from family farms, then blended to perfection and cold-pressed to create the epic hard lemonade you know and love. Mike's Hard Lemonade. Hard days deserve a hard lemonade. Mike's is hard, so is prison. Don't drive drunk. Premium malt beverage with flavors. All registered trademarks used under license by Mike's Hard Lemonade Company, Chicago, Illinois.
For exclusive podcasts and more, sign up at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
This week's Law & Order Marathon winner is Kiki Manning of Seattle, Washington. Kiki will get a marathon decal showing she watched 26.2 hours of her favorite crime show. To be next week's winner, sign up at lawandorderpodcast.com.
I'm Kevin Flynn with Rebecca Lavoie and Aviv Rubenstein, and these are their stories.
You think you know who did it, but you don't know who did it. Law and order, law and order, law and order. It's no ordinary police procedural, baby. It's the FNOG of police procedurals, baby. Law and order, law and order, law and order, law and order. These are their stories, these are their stories.
Welcome to These Are Their Stories, the podcast about network TV's most enduring crime franchise and the real-life cases that inspired their shows. I'm Kevin Flynn. Each podcast will break down an episode from either Criminal Intent, SVU, or Original Recipe. And today we're looking at Special Victims Unit, Season 4, Episode 16, Tortured.
I don't think the blood's our perps. It's hers.
Guys, anyone find a severed foot?
Joining me to do just that is true crime author and the host of Crime Writers On and Slate's Mom and Dad Are Fighting podcasts, Rebecca Lavoie. Hello, Rebecca.
Hey, Kevin, I've got my boots on and I'm ready to go.
They're made for walking. And rounding out the panel is our special guest from the Law & Order Special Viewers Unit podcast. Yay! It's Aviv Rubenstein. Hey, Aviv, how are you?
Hello, fellas and ladies out in listener land.
Hey, you're part of a podcast that reviews Law & Order episodes. Lame.
Yeah, very, very stupid undertaking. Our fans who, there's a large crossover between our fans and your fans. Our fans have taken to taunting us on Twitter about how long it's going to take us to finish our undertaking.
You're to the end of season 5, I think.
So
right?
yeah, we're bringing season 5 in for a landing. It was an interesting and difficult recording season this year because I recorded from 3 different countries. But yeah, so how our show is different from your show is we view and review and just mock the hell out of every episode of SVU in a row in order. And so, yeah,
we made the mistake of bringing Matt on for an episode in a season you haven't seen yet. so we're not going to make that mistake twice. What did you think of Matt's performance on These Are the Stories?
I have some notes for him, but it's interesting. So he got the one that is loosely based on not so loosely based on Bryan Singer. And his parties. Well, that's the one that I wanted because I have met Bryan Singer. And
yes, at a party?
No, at a screening of something. But unfortunately, so I'm a teacher, and one of my students claims to have been invited but turned down an invitation to go to one of Bryan Singer's parties, and I was like, smart.
Dodged a bullet.
Yeah, dodged a real bullet. So yeah, sorry to bring everybody down to first 10 seconds of the episode.
Well, let's bring it back up by telling us, of all the franchises, which 2 cops are your favorite detective team?
Favorite Law and Order detective team.
Well, I have to say Benson and Stabler, because they are my bread and butter, and just statistically, I've seen so many more Benson and Stabler episodes than I've seen any other episode. But I do love me some Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh,
I hear he's a fan of the show.
He's a big fan of our show. Yeah, can't stop tweeting about it.
Kingpin himself.
Yeah.
Edgar.
Edgar, yeah.
And Aviv, who's your favorite prosecutorial team?
Favorite Law and Order District Attorney Prosecutorial Team.
Can I make a fantasy prosecutorial team?
Go for it.
Thank you. I need I need McCoy and a Cabot together. And I know that they have been together, you know, in crossover episodes, but they are my two. Those two are the ones that like just have such scorn for the system in such a real identifiable way to me that I just want their team up every day. But she's dead, alive, dead again. Don't spoil it for me. We're in season 5. She's dead. She's in witness protection. I think she comes back and dies again at some point.
Now let's look at the first half of this episode, SVU Season 4, Episode 16, Tortured. Well, a guy saying he's looking for a hot piece of ass instead finds a cold one. Kunsong Tashi's body is propped up in an alley wearing what are, and let's face it, a serious hot pair of red fuck-me boots. That's important because, damn, someone cut off her left foot.
Blade wasn't that thick, but it was serrated. Based on the hesitation marks, I'd say 2 millimeter width.
It's your garden variety kitchen knife.
Probably upper end. See the impression here? It's from the hilt guard. Only your better knives have them.
He chopped her pre or post-mortem?
No bruising, minimal clotting, so she was already dead as a result of ligature strangulation.
The victim is a refugee from Tibet who suffered torture at the hands of the Chinese government. Now, that kind of baggage can be tough on a marriage, and she and her husband, Preston, have been fighting. Detectives find out that someone other than her husband signed the check during a recent dinner. Is Ryan Kusan's lover? Nope, he's Preston's lover. Surprise! Seems Preston has been playing straight, so Kusan can get her green card and to finally win his father's love. That's kind of sad, right? I just assumed. Kusang was on her way to the apartment of Polly Albergano, who has both a couch for sale and a collection of super sharp knives. He says that she never showed up. Using Kusang's remaining foot, they discovered the boots weren't even her size. The one-of-a-kind prototype boots are stolen from a fashion show by an assistant and disappear at the shoe rental at a bowling alley. Believing Polly may also be a shoe thief, Stabler and Benson interview a woman who was mugged for her 3-inch heels. She had come from a nearby bakery. The totally calm and adjusted female proprietor just can't put Polly there at the night of the assault. Well, that's when the lab finds a note showing Kusang wrote Polly's building number down wrong. The apartment she actually went to was above the bakery and occupied by the baker's son, Jerry, the creepy shoe guy from the bowling alley.
Ooh.
Okay, first off, why is Stabler trying to take the boots off of a corpse?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
Is that what Warner's for?
Yeah, and like, what is he looking for? He's like, let me just check if the foot's there. It's called going with your gut.
Maybe her driver's license is by her ankles, and oh my god!
And it has one of the better dip to commercial out of your teaser moments, which is Liv going, guys, did anyone find a severed foot?
Yeah, he wasn't even wearing gloves, right? It's just way to tamper with the evidence, Stabler.
There's one place a fingerprint will be on a pair of boots. It's on the zipper. Come on, man.
The tainting of evidence in this show is like astronomical.
Hey, but bonus points for Stabler for being Stabler here, because when he finds out that the victim was out all nights doing her work, he says,
I'm not buying it. Kathy didn't come home all night. I'd be out looking for her.
That's you.
That's everybody.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but he winds up that line. He's like, if that was Kathy, I'd, and he's like really taking a swing. He's like, I want to know where she was. Like not like I'd call the whatever.
I want to drag her home by her hair, caveman style.
I'd call the SWAT team. It's like, yeah, I'd be concerned.
Every time he does something like that in one of his episodes, I'm like, why did people want he and Olivia to get together?
Nice.
We really want Olivia to be in that kind of relationship.
We actually got a recent listener feedback from one of our listeners who fucking hates Elliot Stabler, and she's like, I can't wait for him to leave. We have a running theory on our show that he's the most notorious child rapist in New York City's history. And so they're going to like, whole last season, they're going to be chasing him, and then Liv kicks down the door and he's in like a big wingback chair and he turns. He's like, what took you so long? And that's the end of the
show. He's been just hiding evidence as he goes along.
He's the real Lewis. He doesn't know who Lewis is yet.
Nope, don't know who Lewis is. Yeah. Clark.
Don't ruin it for him.
Just you wait.
Hey, I want to say Warner is doing the autopsy, and she says there was damage to the victim's 9 metacarpal bones.
See the 9 metacarpal bones making up the wrist?
Well, there are only 5, bitch. Way to go, Cayman Island Medical School, Dr. Warner.
Be nice to her, because she does literally all of the work in this one scene. She's like, oh, well, they were strangled by a 9-inch wire that's a 14 or 12 gauge, and Liv even gives her shit and is like, can you tell me the brand of wire, please, so I don't have to actually do my job? And she's like, yeah, well, yes, I can.
And then she brings out a strobe lighter. What is one of those black
spectral analyzer?
Yeah, like she does the test. Like, I like to think that she also did that test before they got there, and she's not just like doing
100% yes.
Yeah. Geraldo Rivera thing. And watch what happens when I do this. Click. All right, well, nothing.
100% yes. Because she never fails. She's the best.
She is the best.
Maybe she just misspoke. Be nice to her. Be nice to her.
A for effort, Dr. Warner.
Did Ice-T misspeak when he talked about the painful game of Shock the Kitty that the poor torture victim must have been playing?
Restraints, painful game of Shock the Kitty. Smacks of S&M to me.
Shock the Kitty. Oh, yeah. The cat.
I feel like you may have misspoke when he said the triangle thickens, which is not a thing that anyone's ever said before.
That was the greatest, most horrible piece of dialogue ever.
Who the hell's Mr. Chambers?
Mr. Bennett's business partner.
The triangle thickens.
Sweet wisdom from Finn.
Oh my God, that's so
the triangle thickens. And you wonder why it took us like 15 years to take this detective seriously.
Right. I have like weird memento disease when it comes to these episodes. So we've done this one on our show, but we've done 115 of them. So I was like, oh, it's the bakery lady. No, wait, it's the bowling alley guy. No, wait, it's both?
It's like the Orient Express.
The triangle thickens.
So we have a couple of Hey, It's That guys.
Hey, it's that guy.
Oh, sure.
Who's playing Paulie? The guy selling his couch. Who knows that guy?
Paulie Two Thumbs? Anytime that there's a last name I just make up a vaguely ethnically inappropriate name. I don't know his name, but I know he was definitely on The Sopranos.
And he's definitely played Paulie in other things. There's no way he had
100%.
It's his whole IMDb page. It's different Paulies. That's Steve Shapira.
My thieving whore of an ex robs me blind, and you accuse me of stealing?
He played Bobby Bacalari. I think that's Tony's brother-in-law, right? Didn't he marry Janice?
I'm not a Sopranos viewer.
Yeah,
surprise.
Okay.
So I'm on his IMDb right now, and he has played Vito in no fewer than 4 different things. He's Louie, Vito, Frankie.
Come on, Hollywood.
Roberto, Bobby, Tony, Vinny.
He's had 2 Law & Order appearances. He's also a regular cast member on Blue Bloods and The Secret Life of the American Teenager. And, well, I guess all we have to really say is point to his IMDb page that he's pretty much typecast as an Italian guy.
Central casting, yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Central casting guy standing by a door in a bar while the mafia boss sits at a back table doing the books.
Or a guy just cleaning a glass.
Yeah.
Endlessly.
How about our bowling alley shoe creep, Jerry Dupree?
He hits on every girl that walks through that door. It's pathetic. I'm guessing he sees a lot of rejection. Nothing but he never gets anywhere.
Oh, God. I see his face when I close my eyes now, but I don't know. I don't know who he is.
Rebecca, who is he?
He played Peggy's boyfriend, Abe, in Mad Men. That annoying dude she lived with.
Yes!
Yeah. Now, that actor's name is Charlie Hoffheimer. 3 Law & Order appearances. Yeah. Do you remember how Peggy and Abe broke up?
Didn't like their apartment catch fire or something?
No,
like
something
that?
Almost as bad. She stabbed him in the chest with a kitchen knife taped to a broomstick.
Yes.
She was trying to kill a rat or something. Right?
She was afraid of the civil rights riot going on outside or something like that. It's hot town, summer in the city.
Not to be confused with the guy who like chopped off his own nipple toward the end of the show.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Crazy stuff. This is how he broke up with her. He was in the ambulance, and he looked at her and he said, "Your activities are offensive to my every waking moment."
Someone's been reading my diary.
Now we have a couple of Hey, It's That girls.
Hey, it's that girl.
So I want to start by asking, who is the baker, Mrs. Krug?
I know this one.
I got this one too.
So that's Margaret Collin.
What's a real neighborhood bakery? I know just about everybody in a 10-block radius. By order, mind you, not necessarily by name.
She was on As the World Turns Forever, playing Margot Hughes, and she was also in Independence Day, playing C.J. Craig to that president.
Yeah.
In Independence Day.
That's Connie, Jeff Goldblum's
ex-wife.
wife.
Yeah. Who is in the sequel randomly?
I haven't seen the sequel.
She's like one of the few people that come back for the sequel.
Doesn't she die?
Oh,
no, that's Mary McCormick who dies in Independence Day. The president's wife dies.
In Independence Day?
Yeah.
Wait,
remember?
That's not Marie McCormick?
Mary McCormick. Yeah.
Margaret Collin.
No, this is Margaret Collin.
Yeah.
She lives.
Mary McDonald.
The president's wife. Mary McDonald, right. She
Yeah.
dies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't that Battlestar Galactica?
Same person, yes.
Okay.
I have a not so hot take that in that movie, President Whitmore is a Republican. Not that it matters, I suppose, but yeah.
Because he wants to build a wall around the aliens?
Well, he was in the Air Force, and the stripper says that Vivica Fox says that she voted for the other guy. So that's all the evidence I need.
Oh yeah, okay, I get you. And lastly, defense attorney Gina Bernardo.
Oh God, Ileana Douglas, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice shoes. Thanks. I hate them too, but more importantly, so does Jerry Dupree, my shoe fetishist. It's the only way I can get him to concentrate on the matter at hand and not on my feet.
She played the sister in Rebecca's favorite movie,
One
To
of my
Die
favorite
For.
movies, yes.
And she played the lead in Grace of My Heart and sang a very moving rendition of one of my favorite songs, God Give Me Strength.
I constantly confuse her with Gina Gershon.
Right.
And the fact that she plays someone, and she doesn't like look all that much like Gina Gershon, but I don't know. It's like the 90s erotic thriller niche thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that her name is Gina on the show, I keep, like, it's like getting my wires crossed.
She has had 4 Law & Order appearances. This is her third and final one as this character. She says that she loves everything to do with ventriloquism.
What?
No.
Yeah, that's her thing.
Is that like her Jeopardy fact? Like when you like when you go on Jeopardy and you have to say something really stupid about yourself?
Wait, but like everything?
Yeah, everything. The puppets, the string,
the splinters, Can we talk about the prototype shoes?
Yes, please.
Every store carry every design?
Every buyer carries shoes that appeal to their store's demographics.
Who stocks this one?
No one. It's a prototype. It's not due to hit shelves for another month.
Is that a thing?
That's it. It's not a fucking rocket, man. It's not. It's just shoes.
No one has these shoes. Of course, you go to the one shoe store in Manhattan, the person would know that.
I love those kinds of scenes. I love it.
In season 5, they do it with condoms. They're like, only one store has this artisanal brand of condoms.
Rough Riders.
That's right.
This isn't the first time we've seen a set of cops in one of these shows go to a shoe store either. And but I was expecting to happen is what always happens is they go in and they're like, who bought these shoes? And the person's like, let me immediately find the receipt of the person I remember from 4 months ago who bought these shoes for his mistress.
Now, yeah.
Yeah. I have all the paper receipts here, nothing computerized. Here you go. Well, definitely not pulling out the wrong one. All right, hey, Kusong didn't own those boots because she was pigeon-toed. It's like, how do you know you've only got 1 foot?
Right.
Well, that's a very good point, Kevin.
I'm just saying.
Maybe both feet went in that direction? Is that what you're saying?
Well, pigeon-toed means like they're both spread a little bit.
Oh,
like
okay.
I'm pigeon-toed.
Right.
You've seen my footprints in the snow.
You literally walk like a duck.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I'm splay-footed too, like that. Yeah.
There was definitely an awful lot of extra CSI in this episode.
There sure was.
If we get a reaction with rubionic acid, it was copper.
Well, the victim's foot measured 9 3/16 inches. That would make her a size 6.5.
giving us a variably charged surface with a heavier static charge remaining in any impressions, which will attract this toner.
We get CSU technician Bert Trevor, favorite on our show, who we found out is a 9/11 truther.
Yes.
In real life?
Yeah.
In real life,
Shut up.
Yeah.
Daniel Sunjata?
Yeah.
How can that be?
His character on Rescue Me.
Yeah.
And we had Daniel as a Hey, It's That Guy very recently, but his character on Rescue Me, who is a firefighter,
I know,
was also a 9/11
Oh
truther.
my God.
Life imitating art, I suppose.
For about 2 episodes, and then that storyline got dropped like a hot potato. Hey, so they go to Polly's apartment, which on the full screen card lists the location as Polly's apartment. Oh, shit.
Polly Oregano's apartment.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as a floral shabby chic kind of guy.
I'm not. That's why I sold it. It belonged to my ex.
Now, why would she leave a catch like you?
Because she's a whore. And she found a fatter wallet.
His wife's a hoa.
A hua.
Oh, my God. I didn't know there were 2 syllables in that word.
And she stole my shabby chic couch.
I get a shishi or shabby chic couch with Allstate. Am I covered for my shabby chic couch? Paulie is known at the bakery as, by the kid, he remembers him this way.
That's pumpernickel and olive loaf.
Pumpernickel on olive loaf.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever tried olive loaf not on a dare?
No, it just looks.
I have, actually.
Me too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's disgusting, as you would imagine. I was just very hungry, and it was the only thing available. So it was like a dare from my stomach, I suppose.
It's just bologna. It's just bologna with little holes cut in it. I mean, they obviously like bake the olives inside the bologna or whatever.
What happens to the olives?
You just slice them and they're just like in there.
They're like raisins?
They're still juicy. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Why you guys gotta ask questions that you don't want to know the answers to?
Not enough horseradish in the world,
I love olives. Man. Bologna is a secret pleasure, but those 2 things do not fucking belong together.
Oh, wow.
Salt on salt.
By the way, I hate it that my local deli thinks that I have a sandwich. I walk in and she says, "You are Italian unbulky with mayo."
Really?
I'm like, well, what the fuck? What if I just want soup? The fuck?
Now you're locked in.
The fuck, lady?
You're locked in.
Locked in.
I have the opposite. Predilection, which is that desperately one of my ultimate life goals is to have a menu item named after me. So I just want to be able to walk in and order the Aviv. And it's just like a really oddly specific order, like mayo, but not too much mayo.
Yeah. I had a breakfast sandwich named after me at the bookstore.
It was full of ham.
It's full of ham.
It was.
Was it the Flynn or the Kevin or the?
It was the Flynn.
The Flynn.
Yeah.
And I would tell people, "Hey, do you got a whole mouthful of Flynn?"
Way to ruin it. Way to ruin the dream.
For 25 years, Mike's has been making lemonade the hard way. Mike's Hard Lemonade. Hard days deserve a hard lemonade. Mike's is hard, so is prison. Don't drive drunk. Premium malt beverage with flavors. All registered trademarks used under license by Mike's Hard Lemonade Company, Chicago, Illinois.
Employers are on the lookout for defined skills, and a University of Phoenix business degree is built on them, giving you the skills to stand out. Plus, eligible transfer credits could cover up to 75% of your bachelor's. Get started at phoenix.edu.
All right, now let's look at the second half of this episode. Well, it doesn't take much to get Jerry to confess. They found his collection of stolen shoes, blood on the bakery knives, and more blood in the delivery van. He admits Kun-san came to his apartment by accident, and then it all went wrong.
Things were going really well, too, until she asked where the couch was.
So then what happened?
She ran to the door. I stopped her, asked her to try on a pair of shoes for me. She told me I was sick. I snapped.
Jerry says he cut off the foot so he'd have something to fit into his stolen shoes. Jerry's sassy defense attorney wants to argue his violent shoe fetish was caused by an injury he sustained fighting off a robber at the bakery who hit him in the head with a hammer. Looking at x-rays, Wong notices multiple injuries to his head. Benson and Stabler learn his mother, the baker, always reacted violently to his shoe fetish. Jerry doesn't want to say, but convinced that she'll now take it out on his little brother, he admits his mom would beat him in the head with a frying pan. In a move that stretches the Constitution until it goes snap, they arrest Mrs. Krupp and charge her for making Jerry into a killer. Well, man, Jerry did confess so easily that Stabler didn't even have time to build a rapport telling him about his cum sock.
Oh, God. Okay.
You all right?
I got nothing.
Fine.
Because Jerry's DNA are all over those boots.
Yeah, don't need to. That's why they didn't ask him for the DNA sample. They're like, we have it, we've got it. I also, so this is jumping back. I'm sorry, but when they re-interview Pauly Oregano, it's close enough to Oregano that I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah,
Obregano. When they re-interview Pauly Obregano, Liv tries to Basic Instinct him.
That's right.
Where they like aren't interested in the questions per se, but Liv is like crossing and uncrossing her legs with sexy shoes, and Stabler's behind her going like, no, it's not. I don't see a boner.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Yep. It's not like that porn defense we had that time.
Where is the payoff scene where she does that with Jerry, though? Like, we didn't get that, and I really wanted it.
Well, but we do kind of get that, but it's like alluded to, because when we meet Ileana Douglas, she's wearing orthopedic shoes, and she's like, he won't stop masturbating unless I wear these shoes.
Can't give them what they want.
I just need him to pay attention to me.
So let's talk about them. Gina and Alex Cabot have a very gentle rapport.
Dr. Shelton, say I had the urge to call opposing counsel an uptight, self-righteous little bitch. My frontal lobe knows that means sanctions, and it keeps my mouth shut.
Ileana likes to bait her. They're fun together. I like them. It's almost like they went to law school together and now they're on opposite sides or
They're
something
fighting
like that.
each other.
I would watch the prequel show about the two of them as roommates in law school.
100%.
Well, again, the dialogue in this episode has been exceptional.
Okay, any record of bowling alley guy crossing the foul line?
You've offered a very provocative theory. What it lacks in substance, it makes up for in pretty colors.
What we got? DNA? Prints? No, but something's definitely afoot.
Okay, she didn't take them. I did. For what I thought was a hot date.
What, he knock your boots off?
I had to ride home in my stocking feet.
At least you got to keep both of yours. The next woman wasn't so lucky.
Because some of it's been really bad and some of it's been really snappy.
Yeah.
But she's got a great line when she is when she is giving direct examination of her expert witness, talking about how the brain works. So if I said that opposing counsel was a bitch, I knew that I would get sanctioned, so I wouldn't do that. Way to sneak it in.
That's like the prosecutorial way of saying, all due respect. All due respect, you're a bitch. I would never say that.
Withdrawn.
In a court of law, all due respect.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your. That's a good one. You guys are Southern, right? Bless your heart. In Boston, they just say "not for nothing."
Exactly.
Yeah, for nothing. Yeah.
You also mentioned that Jerry's reasoning for cutting off the foot is that the shoe looked better with a foot in it. Like he didn't have access to like newspaper. Or whatever they put in the shoe store, right?
Make a little paper mache.
Yeah. He says, shit, he's perfect little feet. Now, first off, racist.
Yeah.
We'll just let it go.
Yeah.
Asian girl with perfect little feet.
Those feet were tortured into her.
Yeah. But if they're so small, they're not going to fit any of those shoes. That was the problem in the first place. They're not going to look good.
He needs another foot to put in to fill the shoe for her small foot.
Yeah. It's funny they would find traces of blood, but not the fucking foot.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know really what he wanted to. You don't want to know what he did with that foot.
It's like it's not good anymore. Oh, it's all soft.
Guys, you don't want it. I'm like, listen, I'm on your side. I'm on your side now. You don't want it.
It's in the olive loaf.
What do you think's in the olive loaf? Oh God.
Also immediately when they confront Jerry about, this is like a classic SVU trope, when they confront Jerry about the shoe fetish.
She said that she found you wearing a pair like this when you were 5.
I'm not gay. I just like the way that they look.
She's like, first things first, I'm not gay. I am a murderer and a shoe fetishist, and I might have a brain injury, but I am not a homosexual. So I just want that on record.
And I killed somebody and cut off her foot.
Yeah.
But, ... I don't like dudes. Okay.
Things were going so well until she asked about the couch.
Yeah. So in this episode, as in every episode, Huang just walks through and is like...
Because you got a shoe fetish.
It's a shoe fetish, and then leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I feel like he should appear on screen sliding backwards, like rubbing his hands together, and then say something. She's obviously from Tibet, and then slide out of the frame the way he came in.
It is clear to me that Wong is a figment of Kragan's imagination. And only comes in as a projection, because even in this episode, he like walks in silently and only Kragan addresses him. Like Kragan allows him to speak.
I don't know. George, bondage discipline track for you?
These old scars are political torture.
I think like Kragan summons him like a witch's coven.
It's like his demon from the bottle.
Yeah, because it's very easy to forget because they don't talk about it a lot. Is that Huang is not with the police department; he's with the FBI
At this point in the series.
Yeah, and so how he gets there? Does he have a desk? Did he just kind of wander over? It's like I don't want to go.
They have a Wong phone.
Uptown. I want
hotline.
They have a Wong phone. It's Kragan's brain.
I do feel a little bit bad for like judging the foot fetish thing so harshly with this episode.
Yeah?
I mean, it's not very sex positive. Like, granted, he did kill somebody and cut off her actual foot.
Yeah.
But like, so what if someone likes to jack it with shoes? Who cares? I mean, really, doesn't,
and Wong says it's like it's a simple miswiring.
It could just be cross wiring. In the control map of the brain, the genitals are right next to the feet.
Is that true? Is that like a circuit board situation?
Missed it by that much.
Can I just ask one other question?
Yeah.
They're trademark techniques used by the Chinese military occupying Tibet. I'd say she was Tibetan.
Maybe she was a nun. I understand they're a favorite target, right? Agent Huang?
According to Physicians for Human Rights, of which I'm a member.
Was Munch blaming Huang, Dr. George Huang, for torturing the
100%.
Tibetans?
100%. You're Chinese. You did the torture.
What was, like, we learn about the torture from Huang, and then Munch is like, but wasn't that you?
That's also a little bizarre that Wong wordlessly walks in the room, delivers the history of Asia for all of the white people in the room and iced tea, and then Munch is like, yeah, but that was you, right? You did it. It's like, no.
Not me personally.
I have an alibi. I was here. making wild assumptions about your suspects.
Bringing up random obscure diseases from the DSM to diagnose your suspects with.
But also, like, notoriously politically correct and thoughtful show. They also go to a Tibetan restaurant called Hello Dolly, and this is something that I missed the first time, which is I just thought that it was called Hello Dolly, like the musical or whatever, but it is actually spelled Hello Dalai, like Dalai Lama, and that is offensive.
Yes. Also, when you go, you're supposed to get the Dalai Lama kebabs.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, the Lama kebabs.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Do they have like a Dalai menu? That's also a stretch.
What's the soup of the Dolly?
You know, it's amazing at Hello Dolly, when you finish the sandwich, another one is just born for you on your plate.
Oh, wow. You know what? No, You go up to the counter and you say, make me one with everything.
Yes.
Now, seriously, we are obviously just making jokes about the fact that the show is insensitive.
That's right.
We are not being insensitive.
Tibetans, don't at us.
I am specifically making jokes about Tibetans.
Yeah.
and my name is Matthew Reuter.
Yeah. Don't forget Italians should come after you too, Matt. Okay, so by the way, it's a bakery. So why is she hitting him with a frying pan?
And why do they have olive loaf?
Well, I think both. I think those things are two sides of the same coin. They do sandwiches and fry up some eggs and some olive loaf on pumpernickel. Everyone throws up. It's a great time.
But shouldn't she be hitting him with a muffin tin?
Sure.
Maybe.
Or
a blender? I don't know.
A blender. Whisk. One of those big mixers.
With the kind you have, Ribbit. What is that
The
brand?
KitchenAid?
The KitchenAid. And he's always like, not in the head, Ma! Not in the head!
Oh.
He knew he shouldn't get hit in the head.
Poor
because
Jerry.
because it's like Rocky 5. The doctor has told him, you get hit in the head one more time and you will have a shoe fetish.
So in the end, they decide they're going to arrest the mom.
What are you doing?
Placing you under arrest.
What for?
The murder of Kun Song Bennett.
Oh, that's insane. I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, you did. Caused the injuries that turned Jerry into a killer.
What?
That's depraved indifference. Murder, too.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about the Constitution on this show. They interviewed that little boy, Brendan, without his parents around or a
Sure.
lawyer.
Yeah, this is one of Matt's big pet peeves, and I was like so okay with it. I was like, yeah, talk to the kid, whatever. He seems like he can take care of himself.
He's got a good memory.
But they also do a complete about face. Like, this is it's just a bad faith argument because they do a complete about face from what Cabot's original argument was, which is that you can't, even though your violent tendencies may be you might be like prone to violence, this head injury doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to be violent. And then they're like, oh, the mom did it? Yeah, she turned him into a violent criminal. And so she's undercutting her own argument, which is like, whatever, it's the end of the episode. We're landing this bird.
I like when Alex tells the cops, because the mom was in the stand and says it was the, intruder with the attack.
Yeah.
And then she says to the cops, find me evidence that the mom perjured herself. And they're like, all right.
Yeah, sure.
No problem.
We'll talk to that one firefighter who remembers 7 years ago.
Everything. Oh, yeah. One pupil was dilated. The other pupil wasn't.
He wasn't in the bakery. He was upstairs, crying like a little bitch, sucking his thumb and holding on to a pair of pumps.
Well, that might be the reason that he remembers. He's like, I've never seen someone cry like that. Like such a bitch. This is one of the few episodes I've seen where it's really just like a case of bad luck, right? Like the whole first half of the episode is this exploration of the torture of the Tibetans by the communist Chinese, and it turns out like, nope, she just wrote an address down wrong.
If only she had
If she didn't have dyslexia, she'd be alive.
Poor Kun Sung would be alive today.
For 25 years, nothing has tasted better after a hard day's work than a Mike's Hard Lemonade. It's because since day one, Mike's has been making lemonade the hard way. We use 3 kinds of lemons, all hand-picked from family farms, then blended to perfection and cold-pressed to create the epic hard lemonade you know and love. Mike's Hard Lemonade. Hard days deserve a hard lemonade. Mike's is hard, so is prison. Don't drive drunk. Premium malt beverage with flavors. All registered trademarks used under license by Mike's Hard Lemonade Company, Chicago, Illinois.
Let's take a look at the real-life story that inspired this episode. It's time for Ripped from the Headlines.
You think you know who did it. You think you know who did it. But you don't know who did it. You don't know who did it. Ripped from the headlines.
This episode is inspired by the serial killer Jerry Brudos, known as the Shoe Fetish Slayer. Born in 1939, Brudos developed a fetish as a child for high-heeled shoes and women's underwear. He tried stealing his first-grade teacher's shoes. As a teen, he'd attack women, knock them unconscious, and run off with their shoes. After spending time in an Oregon psychiatric hospital, Brudos married and fathered 2 children, but soon took to prowling the neighborhood to steal shoes and panties. He strangled to death 4 women between 1968 and 1969. Among his victims was a 19-year-old door-to-door encyclopedia saleswoman and a 23-year-old in a broken-down car. After the murders, Brudos would bring the bodies to his garage, dress up in women's clothes, rape and mutilate the corpses, then dump them in a nearby river. Police warned co-eds to be on the lookout for suspicious men. One woman reported Brudos had been calling her for a date. In his garage, investigators found copper wire which matched that used to tie the bodies. Brudos confessed and told detectives his disturbing tale. After nearly 40 years in the Oregon State Penitentiary, Jerry Brudos died in 2006.
All right, so his first victim was a 19-year-old encyclopedia saleswoman. Talking about knocking on the wrong door.
Yeah.
This was 1968. He lured her into the basement while his family was upstairs.
Shut up.
And killed her then. He cut off her left foot, kept it in the freezer, and used it to model his shoes.
Ah.
That's a real detail, yeah.
This is a non sequitur, but there is a great documentary about door-to-door Bible salesmen called Salesman from 1969. So I actually just looked up the year because I was like, is this after the encyclopedia saleswoman got murdered? It is. But it's by...
Hello. My name is...
Yeah. It's by the Maisels brothers, and it rules. Yeah. And they do a send-up of it in Documentary Now. If you don't want to watch a real thing and want to watch a parody of it.
So this is like the difference between like the 1960s and now. One of the many differences was that like you could just tell your wife to stay upstairs while you were murdering somebody in the basement.
Honey, I'm busy. I'm working.
That's right.
This is daddy's time.
That's right. Where did all these encyclopedias come from?
And why are they covered with blood?
Yeah, we have Christmas covered.
Yeah, stay out of daddy's work area.
Oh, God.
Use a frozen foot and put it in the shoes. You got to be careful, though, with boots. You know how, like, when I got to fish out a sock?
Yeah.
I mean, it must be a lot harder with a foot.
Yeah.
So one of the victims was a stranded motorist. He cut off her breast, made a mold of it, and then made a paperweight out of it.
Oh, my God.
I feel like there's an easier way. I just feel like there's an easier way to do that. Like, without mutilation. You just, like, paper mache or...
It's a pretty simple shape.
Or just like look on Amazon for a breast-shaped paperweight. I'm sure they exist.
Well, why not go the whole way and make an ashtray out of the vagina?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Maybe a little place to
Stop
perch
it.
Yeah, there's like a little... Yeah, exactly. Oh, I got there.
Listen, I'm very sex positive. That all sounds great to me. I'm not judging.
That just ties back into Kunsung, which is like she got cigarettes put out on her genitals.
I know.
So you see, there's a market for that, is what I'm saying for you, Kevin. Communist China.
If you're one of Huang's family members who obviously are responsible for the entire torture of all the Tibetan people.
This is one of the most bizarre details, I think. Brudos abducted a woman from a parking lot and brought her to his garage. He kept the body suspended in the air on pulleys so he could dress it up and have sex with it. And then later... he zapped the corpse with an electrical current to make it jump.
I got no strings to hold me down.
This legit sounds like, I don't know, is this like a David Fincher film? I mean, this is crazy.
It is.
It's a Tobe Hooper film called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but in Oregon.
Oh, true.
You'll remember Brutus as the serial killer from the miniseries Mindhunter, as the one who masturbated into the shoe in front of them.
Oh, yeah.
While he was in prison, he would get women's shoe catalogs and say they were his replacement for pornography.
A truer statement has never been spoken.
Yeah.
Well, that part of the brain is right next to the genitalia.
Yeah, just a haywire. There's your problem.
Hard to say it's contraband, you know?
It's also right next to the part of the brain that likes making human marionettes, apparently.
Jeez.
So when Ileana Douglas says she loves everything about ventriloquism, does that include...
Well, that's going to do it for us. We want to thank our guest, Avi Rubenstein. Avi, where can our listeners follow you online?
My personal stuff is at Rambo Calrissian on Twitter and Instagram, and you can hit us up. We have another special viewing unit podcast, so at SVU Podcast on Twitter, and for longer stuff, specialviewingunit@gmail.com.
And Rebecca Lavoie, how can our listeners follow you?
Well, they can listen to me on Crime Writers On, or they can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Reb Lavoie.
And you can track me at Kevin P. Flynn. You can also tweet to us at Law and Order Pod, or follow us on Instagram at These Are Their Stories Podcast. Our newsreader was Cy Frater. Our theme music was composed and performed by Uncanny Valleys. Line editing by Henry Lavoie. Content assistance from Travis Roy. Lily Flynn handles promotions. To get ad-free episodes of These Are the Stories a week early, sign up for Stitcher Premium. Get your first month free at stitcherpremium.com/crime. All clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyrights Act Fair Use Exemption for criticism and commentary. Special thanks to the elite squad of the Law & Order Wiki community for preserving the evidence. If you want to know what episodes we're talking about in our upcoming shows, go to lawandorderpodcast.com. Sign up for our newsletter for a chance to be our next Law & Order Marathon winner. These Are the Stories was recorded in the Yoga Loft above the Bodega in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi studio. It is a production of Partners in Crime Media.
For 25 years, nothing has tasted better after a hard day's work than a Mike's Hard Lemonade. It's because since day one, Mike's has been making lemonade the hard way. We use 3 kinds of lemons, all hand-picked from family farms, then blended to perfection and cold-pressed to create the epic hard lemonade you know and love. Mike's Hard Lemonade. Hard days deserve a hard lemonade. Mike's is hard, so is prison. Don't drive drunk. Premium malt beverage with flavors. All registered trademarks used under license by Mike's Hard Lemonade Company, Chicago, Illinois.